Shalom, shalom. It's Azariah giving our honor and glory to Yahweh by Shem HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Today's topic I want to go over is dealing with your anger. All right. In the last days, you got to check yourself. Make sure that you are really in the spirit of HaMashiach Yahweh Shai. Right. You got to know how to control yourself, control your anger. Right. You got to know how to control situations before they get out of hand. So with that, I'm going to start off with Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." So it's going to be a time where you're going to be in a situation when somebody just trigger your anger, right? You know how Jake would say it, your pet peeve, right? So you got to know that when that time come, how do you deal with anger, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, "When wisdom enter into thy heart, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee, understanding shall keep thee." Right. So when that time come, when when you're in your emotions, and you can't control yourself, you can't control your own spirit. Look, you got to deal with wisdom. You got to know how to make the right judgment. Right. You got to know when is the time or when is not the time to handle a situation when you know you can't even control your own spirit. Right? It's always a time for everything. It's always a good time. It's always a bad time. Right? For example, let's go to Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 14. It reads, "He that bless his friend with a loud voice, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted a curse to him." Right? So you blessing your friend early in the morning. Ain't nobody trying to hear that noise. You got to know when the right time to do things. Right? You got to know when the right time to do things and the time to not to do things. Right? With putting yourself in a situation when something come against you, you got to know how to control that situation before it get out of hand. For another example, let's go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew 5 and 25. It said, "Agree with thy adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison." Right? Sometimes you got to just agree with your adversary. If you know somebody got a higher authority over you, sometimes you got to agree with them. Right? Handle things a different way. You got to come up with a different approach. Right? You can always come off angry, mad, upset, frustrated with your wrath. You got to know how to deal with stuff in the right time. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 8. It said, "Go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame." Right? So it said, go not hasty to strive against your neighbor. Right? Don't be, soon somebody say something, you heard something, you heard a rumor about you, right? And you quick to jump up with anger and you go against your brother because you heard so and so said this. Right? You heard so and so said something about you that got you upset. Now, instead to judge the matter with wisdom, you go hasty to strive. Right? Let's go to Sirach. Ecclesiasticus chapter 11 and verse 8. No, verse 7. It said, "Blame not." It said, "Blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, then rebuke." Because you didn't apply the wisdom that the Most High gave you. Now you quickly to haste and strive against your neighbor. Your neighbor's going to quickly push you to shame because you didn't judge the matter. Right? You was full of wrath. You were full of anger. You didn't want to approach it with wisdom and knowledge and understanding that the Most High gave you. Right? Let's go to Sirach, chapter 1. Oh, shoot. Let's go over. Sirach, chapter 1. Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 21. It said, the fear of the Lord drive away sins, and where it is present, it turn away wrath. Right, so the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Right, you dwelling with wisdom, look, it drive away sins, and it turn away from wrath. It turn away from you being uncontrollably. You can't be controlled. Right, it turns away from the time where you let your spirit and your anger overpower you. Right, verse 22. It said, a furious man cannot be justified, for the sway of his fury shall be his destruction. Right, so a furious man cannot be justified. You can't tell a man to calm down. Right, you can't tell a man like, look, brother, calm down. When he's furious, he's like the, you'll say, the Incredible Hulk. Right, you can't tell him nothing. He don't want to listen. He put himself in a bad situation. Like you tell the Jake when he get in the fight. Yo, brothers, calm down. You don't want to handle that situation like that, brother. Don't be mad, right? Just deal with it wisely. Nah, the brother's all puffed up in the spirit, quickly to strive against his brother, and the brother gonna put him to shame quickly, or he might get locked up. People might tell me, look, bro, the police coming. They'll handle another time. Nah, he don't care. You can't tell her. You can't look. I seen many fights when somebody tell them, "Yo, the police come. The police coming." They still fighting, right? Cause you can't tell man that's furious. Nothing. Right now, you gotta take that cause and gotta, deal with it. Be being locked up, and you gotta deal with it against the Most High. Right. Let's go to Proverbs. Back to Proverbs, chapter 16, and verse 20. It say, he that handle a matter wisely shall find good, and whoso trusts in the Lord, happy is he. Right, so you got to handle a matter wisely, right? How do you handle a matter wisely? You got to think before you do stuff, right? You got to take 10 seconds and like, look, if I do this, it's going to put me in a bad situation. Right, let me just diffuse the situation. Let me take a 10-minute breather. Right, let me calm down before, I go up against another brother. You can't be thinking about evil. Oh, I can't wait till I see that brother so I can knock him out, punch him in his lip because I heard he was talking stuff about me. Nah, you're not supposed to do that. All right, from there, let's go to Psalms. Chapter 37 and verse 8. It said, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. So you got to cease from anger, right? You got to cease from anger and forsake wrath, right? You got to control your spirit. You got to all right, nah, look. When you have that thought in your head where you just want to punch somebody in the face, you got to look, no. Not going to do it. Right? We got to forsake that wrath. Like, look, let me just turn my back. Sometimes you got to just, turn the other cheek. For verse 9, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Right? So the evildoers, those that just filled with malice and wrath and want to do evil against their own brother, those people going to be cut off because they let that emotions overpower that spirit, right? They let that old man creep back in. But it said, those that wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth, right? The Most High is going to bless you because, look, you dealt with a situation that was wise. You dealt with a situation wisely. From there, let's go to Sirach chapter 3. Sirach chapter 3 and 24. And it reads, For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Right? So the evil suspicion have overthrown their judgment. Right? They did deceived by their own vain opinion, thinking that so and so said something about them. Right? Their own suspicion had overthrown that judgment. Now, just because they thought of a situation, now they just took it unwisely and didn't apply the laws. Right? They didn't apply Matthew chapter 18, verse 15, and on down. They didn't apply none of the things that the Most High said to do. Right? Now that evil suspicion overthrow that judgment where they're not even thinking about wisdom. They thinking about, how to overthrow a brother. Right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28. And it reads, He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. Right? So you got to control your own spirit, man. You letting any type of demon come into you. You got lying demons. You got demons full of wrath. You got demons that full of evil and hate and hatred. Evil spirits. They all coming into you because you can't control your own spirit. So you got all the other demons just entering you. Now you feel with so much malice. You feel so much hatred and anger. You just don't know why. Because you wasn't able to apply the laws that the Most High gave to you. Right? You wasn't meditating in his book day in, day in, day out. Just to see how to handle a situation. Right? Let's go back to Sirach. It's a lot in Sirach and it's a lot in Proverbs. Let's go back to Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 30. And it reads, Malice and wrath, even these are the abomination, and a sinful man shall have them both. Right, so you feel with malice and wrath, you full of abomination, bro. And a sinful man should have them both. You a sinful man, you're not applying the Most High laws, right? You all into all type of folly and wickedness, and you feel with malice and wrath because you let them demons attack you. You let them evil spirits come inside of your temple and turn and start flipping tables over. They chill inside you now, making you go off. Right? Let's go to Job chapter 5 and 2. Book of Job chapter 5 and 2. It says, For wrath killeth a foolish man, and envy slay the silly ones. Right? You said, look, it said wrath killeth the foolish man. You can't tell a man nothing. Right? His heart filled with evil and anger. Right? He's a foolish man. He's going to get himself killed out there, walking around with hatred. Right? Let's go back to Proverbs. Chapter 27 and verse 4. It said, Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous, but who is able to stand before envy? Right? You can't look. It said, Wrath is cruel and anger is outrageous. But who is able to stand before envy? All them things is abomination to the Most High. Right? Because you filled with wrath, you filled with anger, you don't know how to control the situation, you don't know how to apply the laws of the Most High. You letting your emotions get over you, right? You're not applying 2 Corinthians 13:5, right? You're not examining yourself. You go about to and fro, filled with hatred and anger, ready to get revenge on your brother because you heard something that somebody else said. And you got the brother number. You don't want to call him and say, "Hey, brother, I heard so and so say something." But no, you wait till you see that brother, so you can pop off at him, right? Or you must, hear something else. Look, you just feel with anger. Your spirit's taking over you, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 10. And verse Um, I started 18. 10, Proverbs 10 and 18. It said, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. Right? You hiding hatred with lying lips, talking about, oh, you cool with so and so. But at the end of the day, you angry with that person. Right? It said, he that uttereth a slander is a fool. Right? Because you slander somebody because you heard something that you think that he said. Now you slander him. Right? Stabbing him in his back, talking bad about him. They say, brother, you was a fool. Right? Verse 18, 19. It said, in a multitude of words, there want not sin. That wanted not sin. But he that refrain his lips is wise. So look, you know how you just talking. Well, you know how you get around a brother, right? He just talking. Look, he going to reveal his sin. He going to bring it out. Right? So you can't, you just talking back and forth to a brother, arguing, being contentions. Look, sin is involved. But say he that refrain his lips, look, just be quiet, bro. Look. My quiet is my wisdom. It's my peace. Right? Go say what you say. Go say what you say. And I'm gonna say what I say. And then we're gonna end it like that. Now we're not gonna go back and forth, because look, when you start arguing, that's when the spirit start jumping to you. Right? Let's go Proverbs chapter 18 and 21. Proverbs at 18 and verse 21. It said, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. So it said death and life is in the power of the tongue. Right? You know the saying that Jake always used, sticks and stones may break my bone, but words cannot hurt me. Well, look, words can hurt. Right? If a brother, at school always getting picked on, teased on, people talking bad about him, look, that brother, he gonna come back, and he gonna be filled with wrath and hatred when they start beating everybody up. Or he gonna go, or might take a different route. Or he might just go back home and try to shoot himself in the head, or trying to strangle himself, jump off a cliff, right? Trying to commit suicide, right? Because he's letting the words of others get to him. So words can hurt, right? Let's go to Sirach, chapter 27 to 18. Sirach 37 to 18. It said, four manners of things appear, good and evil, life and death, but the tongue ruleth over them continually. Right? So that's how powerful the tongue is. Right? They got power over evil, good, death, life. All them other things, they got power over that. So sometimes you gotta watch what you say against brothers. Right? For example, let's go to Amos chapter 5 and 10. Amos chapter 5 and verse 10. It said, they hate him that rebuke in the gate, and they abhor him that speak uprightly. Right? So some people hate being rebuked before they hate correction. Right? Sometimes you got to know what to say and how to correct a brother, because he know that, look, that brother might just take this wrong, or he may take this on the other hand, or he might be filled with malice and hatred. So let me approach this brother in a common situation. Right? Let me approach this brother, smooth. Let me smooth talk him sometimes. Right? No, you can't. You don't always supposed to just come to a brother like, hey, brother, you a sinner. Got a damn devil on you. You're not always supposed to tell a, come to a brother like that. Sometimes you got like, hey, brother, look, I know what you did. I know that everybody fighting sin. Just gotta try to, you gotta try to be perfect. Try to do right. Give him that good open view. Open the book and tell him where he went off at. Where he went off at. Right? Proverbs 15 and 1. It said, a soft answer turn away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Right? So something you gotta know how to talk to a brother, because some brothers just can't take correction. Some brothers just it's just that it's like that. They can't take correction. They quick to be angry, right? They so quick to be in their emotions, like the emotions control over them, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse, I think it's 9. 9, yeah. It said, be not hasty in the spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry. To be angry, Slakia. So don't be hasty to be angry. For anger rested upon the bosom of fools. You a fool if you so quick to be angry. To filled with so much hatred and angry. Anger with anger from your brother. For your brother, Slakia. Right? You're a fool because you can't handle the situation and you're so quick to be angry. Right? So quick to be and be mad. You got to know how to control yourself. Control your spirit. Sometimes you got to walk away. Right? Let's go to Proverbs. Chapter 14 and verse 29. Let's go 17 first. It said, he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. Right? So you deal foolishly when you so angry. Right? You do stupid things. You're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Dang, man, I let my emotion take over me. Man, I should have been thinking. Right? And a man of wicked devices is hated. Right. So you're a fool if you just quick to be angry. You're a fool to be dealing with wicked devices. You're a fool for doing them things because you let your emotions get over you. All right, let's jump down to 29. It say, he that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalted folly. Right? So you got to be slow to wrath. Sorry, you can't be all puffed up sometimes. Sometimes you got to just calm down. Be in the spirit. Right? Don't let a scoffer, take you out the spirit. Right? Let's go to Proverbs 16 and 32. Proverbs chapter 16 and verse 32. It say, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit, than he that taketh a city. Right, so that's just explaining how good and how mighty you are if you control your spirit, if you control yourself, you control your anger, control your spirit. Right? It said that you are better than the mighty man. Right? You are better than the man that can take over a city. Right? So you got to be able to control yourself. Deal with wisdom. Right? Apply it. Right? And when you angry, you got to know, look, I might be angry, but I'm not going to let this situation get control of me. Right? I'm not going to lose my wisdom. Right? If I'm angry and I'm puffed up, well, let me open up the book and let me apply the scripture. Right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. And Slakia, chapter 4. And verse 26. It says, be ye angry and sin not, and let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Right? That's Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. It said, be ye angry and sin not. So look, if you angry, just apply the scriptures. Don't let sin and the devil get a control of you. Seeing you angry, you can't control your spirit. Now the devil is quickly approaching, right? Quickly coming in your spirit, making you do things you would not. Right? Making you do things that you would not want to do. Last scripture. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. 1 Peter 5 and 8, and said, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil is your adversary the devil as a roaring lion walking about seeking whom he may devour. Right? So once you quit to be angry, you can't control your spirit, the devil start creeping in. Bang. Now he devouring you. He devouring your whole spirit. Now you back in the world. Now you got hatred against your brother. Now you don't want to even open up the Bible. Be like, look, forget that Bible, right? Forget the Most High. That's what you're saying. I want to just beat that brother up. Forget what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying, right? Because you can't control yourself. Now you got the devil on you, literally. So you got to be able to control your spirit, control yourself, calm down, take a breather, apply the scripture, deal with wisdom correctly, right? Make wise decisions, make good judgments. Making a bad turn, it's gonna push yourself in the dead end. All right. So I pray that it was understanding. I pray that was edification to the those that was listening. All right. This is Azariah giving a good shalom.